1657. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for the Blackstone Valley. Today, increasingly cloudy with a high of 34 degrees and a breeze from the northwest. Tonight, 100% chance of snow, mainly after 10 p.m. The snow could be heavy at times. Overnight low of 23, calm wind. New snow accumulation overnight tonight, 4 to 8 inches possible. Sunday's weather, 60% chance of snow, ending by noontime. Cloudy skies with a high near 35 and a breeze from the north. New snow accumulations on Sunday morning of 1 to 2 inches possible. Monday's weather, sunny with a high of 32. Tuesday, partly sunny and 31 with a calm wind. Tuesday night, 60% chance of more snow likely, mainly between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 20 degrees and light variable wind. Wednesday, 40% chance of additional snow before 10 a.m. Partly sunny skies after that with a high of 33 and a breeze from the north. Wednesday night, 60% chance of more snow likely, mainly after 2 a.m. Mostly cloudy skies, overnight low of 22. Thursday, 70% chance of rain, snow, and sleet mixed. Cloudy, high of 37 and a breeze from the northeast. Thursday night, 50% chance of rain and snow continuing, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 19. And Friday, mostly sunny skies with a high near 32.
And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 27.7 degrees. It's sunny now, but apparently things are going to change. Good morning. Thank you for joining us in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with my co-host, Pat Holland. Good morning, Pat. Happy Super Bowl weekend. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, you get your milk, your bread, your eggs. You all set for some French toast for the storm?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Oh, well, you're going to join everybody else out there snow shopping and Super Bowl shopping?
I like doing that.
Yeah, that's fun. So, all right. Well, we got a lot of things to get to. We got coming up right after our first break, we're going to have Blackstone Valley Call and Time sports writer Brendan McGear in for a few minutes to discuss. There's a lot going on with the Woonsocket High School football coach being let go. Brendan kind of broke that story, I believe it was yesterday, in the Blackstone Valley Call and Time. So we'll be having Brendan McGear on a little bit later on this morning. But let's start like we always do. Let's go around Rhode Island and New England with some updates. The Bryant Bulldogs dropped their first America East Conference game Thursday night to University at Albany. Pat, it's not of Albany, it's at Albany. Just, we got to make sure that's clear. 68-63 over at the Chase Center. They get right back to it this afternoon at 2 o'clock at Binghamton. Bryant still in first place in the America East Conference at 8-1. They're ahead of Maine, who's 7-2. And the usual NCAA tourney participant, Vermont, who you always see on your brackets, is in third place at 5-3. The good thing about Bryant, I believe they have clinched at least a home game in the America East tournament, and if they can stay in first, the whole tournament will go through them. There's no neutral site like Madison Square Garden. So Bryant still remains right now, despite the upset loss, still remains, in my opinion, the only Rhode Island Division I men's basketball team with a chance to make the tournament this year.
Yeah, and then Brown basketball team, they're currently 10-9, 2-4 in the Ivy League. They lost Saturday to Princeton, 69-49. After a week off, the Bears play Columbia today at 2 o'clock, which is a big game, really a must-win for them to stay alive in the Ivy League.
Yeah, they got to get things going. They had a late run last year, but they got to get things going. Again, automatic qualifier only. Second place goes to the NIT. Everybody else, hey, have a good winter or spring. URI, they dropped an important A-10 game to Fordham Wednesday night, 80-79 on a putback layup with 2 seconds left. URI now 15-7 overall, 4-6 in the Atlantic 10. Again, they started off 12-1, so 3-6 in their last 9. URI tries to get back on track today. George Mason, not 2 o'clock tip-off, but a 4 o'clock tip-off. So, next up, what do we got? PC?
Yep, PC. Bear with me here.
All right. Everything all right?
Yeah, like a little frozen computer.
A little glitch.
PC basketball without Bryce Hawkins and now without Jabri Abdur-Rahim. They lost 80-69 Wednesday night to Creighton, dropping to 11-12 on the season with just 8 games left before the Big East tournament. PC plays at Butler today at 3. If you don't watch that game, it will be on the Peacock Network.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you get Peacock?
I get everything, I think.
I'm lucky with Peacock because the Comcast, I've been a subscriber in mass for since I moved there about 25 years ago, and because I've been there forever, I get Peacock for free.
Nothing's for free.
No, but I don't have to pay extra for it because I've been with them forever. But it's unfortunately for people, it's the only place to see the game. It's not on FS1 or regular Fox. But big game for them if they want to make any sort of run into the Big East tournament. At Schneider Arena last night, the number 7 Friars hosted the number 5 Black Bears of Maine, skated to yet another tie. 3-3 tie. Graham Gamache and Hudson Malinowski each tallied 3 points in the tie. Maine earned that extra point. We talked about that last week with a 1-0 4-round shootout win. So Providence now 16-6-5 on the season. Maine's now 17-5-4. I found this interesting, Pat. Out of PC's 27 games so far this year, 10 have gone to overtime. So you really get your money's worth if you go to a PC game.
Right.
They're 4-1-5 in overtime this season. These same two teams meet at Schneider tonight at 6 o'clock, right before the storm hits. So get out to Schneider Arena, go catch number 7 versus number 5. Should be a great game.
Yeah, and on Thursday night, the Brown Bears beat Yale 2-1 to improve to 10-10-2 on the season. If you're looking to kill time after shoveling tomorrow, but before the Super Bowl, head over to Meehan Auditorium for a 2 o'clock matinee featuring the same two teams.
Yeah, I think shoveling begins at 9. Should be done around noon, 1 o'clock. Head on over to me and gonna kill a few hours. Back game, 6:30 kickoff. So, a weekly roundup. Hockey East. Boston College, number 1. Maine, number 5. PC, number 7. BU, number 8. This is not in Hockey East. This is in the country. UMass Lowell, number 10. UConn, number 11. In the pairwise rankings, the best indicator of who will get into the field of 16 for the NCAA hockey tournament in March, Boston College remains 1. Maine gets bumped up to 4. PC gets bumped up to 6. BU and UConn are actually tied at number 8, and UMass Lowell is at 11. This is fascinating. If you're not paying attention to college hockey, I mean, this is absolutely fascinating what's going on in Hockey East and how good Hockey East is this year, not only featuring the number 1 team in the country in Boston College, but just to see all these teams, 6 teams are in the top 10 or 11 in the country. I mean, it's incredible. It's so if you're a hockey fan, start tuning in. Hockey East tournament, I've been to it in the past. It's coming up, in and around St. Patrick's Day. Pay attention. This is real exciting what's going on today.
Yeah, and UMass beat UConn last night. So
Amherst beat UConn.
Yeah.
Wow. So upsets are happening all over the place. Yeah, UMass Amherst, I think, is number 18 in the country right now. And, 18 in the country in college basketball means a lot. 18 in the country in hockey, not as much. You really want to get into that, start flirting with that top 14, top 13 if you want to get into the NCAA tournament in March. But
yeah, and that
happened.
Win last night for UMass was Coach Greg Carville's 250th career win. So,
wow. All at UMass, do you know? Or I don't know much about him.
At UMass.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
UMass made a big run if he was a coach a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I believe it's his 250th win at UMass.
Wow. So, good for him. So and I'm assuming it was a big crowd at Schneider last night as well. So, I mean, the crowds are coming out. And I forgot to put it in the notes. We talked about it briefly. If you watch the Beanpot, the semifinals of the Beanpot last Monday, not good. Like boring games. BC rolled, BU rolled. However, it used to be called the BC BU Invitational. They're meeting for the finals. They haven't met since 2016 in the finals. And it's also 2016 is the last year that Boston College won the Beanpot, but yet they're the leader in all-time wins in this. So that should be a good game with Harvard and Northeastern playing in the consolation game, I think 4:30 in the afternoon. But the Beanpot final Monday night at 7:30, probably on Nesson. Definitely on Nesson. So that should be a good one.
Yeah. And then over at the AMP last night, forward Max Jones scored the game-tying goal with 3:55 remaining in the final frame before the Providence Bruins took the extra point with a 3-2 victory in a shootout over the Springfield Thunderbirds. Tyler Pitlick scored the first goal of the contest early in the second frame, and goaltender Brandon Bussey made 25 saves, stopped all 3 shootout attempts to earn the victory. Same two teams play again tonight in Springfield at 7:05.
Not Mike DiPietro in that. That's we haven't seen Bussey's
Right.
name in a while. And speaking of the Providence Bruins, next week I'm very excited. Again, we were talking off air. We booked this, I guess late last week or so in studio. We're gonna have the play-by-play voice of the Providence Bruins, Austin Rook, in studio with us next week to discuss the Providence Bruins, Boston Bruins, the Four Nations Series, USA, Canada, Finland, Sweden, which starts this Wednesday. And game 2 of that series, so everybody will have played one game because one game on Wednesday, one on Thursday, Friday off. Then they continue on Saturday with all 4 teams playing. So we're gonna have Austin Rook to come in here, talk all things hockey and whatever else comes up. So when we come back, we'll be joined hopefully on the phone by Brendan McGear, and I think he is there, and to discuss what is going on at Woonsocket High School. He's a sports writer for the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times. So when we come back here on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, WoonsocketRadio.com, you'll join us in the cheap seats right after this message.
ON Radio.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasket Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Invista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasket Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TasketBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasket Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
At North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care, you'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who'll diagnose your minor illness or injury. Their services include treatment for flu, fractures, rashes, ITU infections, and work-related injuries, plus physicals, vaccinations, and drug screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, Great Road, North Smithfield, and Lincoln Urgent Care, Wake Robin Road, Lincoln. X-ray and lab on premises.
Appreciate your customers and give them the best job possible. That's been their motto at Michaud's Auto Body since 1948. They have continually invested in the newest and best frame unibody equipment available, as well as color matching techniques. Michaud's Auto Body is a certified Class A facility where all collision repairs are 100% guaranteed. Michaud's Auto Body at 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
Looking to beautify your property this fall? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Looking to beautify your home this fall? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
We're local and live at 99.5.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. And I believe we got on the line Brendan McGear. Let's go to that right now. Hello, Brendan. Are you there?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing great, Brendan. How about yourself?
Oh, it's Super Bowl weekend, but as we discussed, there's a lot of meat on the bone to talk about here, fellas.
Yeah. Co-host Pat here, forwarded me the article. My brother Joe called me yesterday, but I'm like, good news, Joe. We already got Brendan coming in. So let's, start off right now. Longtime Woonsocket High School coach Charlie Bebo let go by Woonsocket High School. A three-part question here, Brendan. One, how long has he been the coach at Woonsocket? How did you first hear the news? And the big question, why was he let go?
Well, I guess the reason why he was let go is reason still to be determined. Right now, what's probably more surprising than anything, guys, is that here it is the second weekend in February, and the football season is over since Thanksgiving. We know we're in the booth at Barry Field that cold, rainy morning. And, if a decision was going to be made, why wasn't it made a lot sooner than it was? And, obviously hearing it through the grapevine from people about what was going on, and just in shock of what was transpired. And he's been the coach for 7 years. He led the program to back-to-back Super Bowl titles. in 2018 and 2019 are a remarkable feat for a public school at the Division II level.
Sure.
Put another number of kids send a number of kids to the college level, but also too, went above and beyond the Call of Duty when it came to taking care of his kids. I mean, we've done a lot of games here together at Barry Field, and just to see him after a game, win or lose, the picnic tables lined up with food, soda, pizza to feed these kids after games. That doesn't happen by magic. That happens through true dedication. And Charlie Debo definitely looked out for his kids, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. He's always out there. He's very passionate. I hear him before the games. When we get there to do a game, he's out there. He's out there on the on the field. He's yelling and screaming, but so isn't every other football coach I've ever run into at all levels. So I'm not holding that against him. I hope the administration isn't at Woonsocket either. And Brendan, the news isn't sitting well with the players or the parents. I saw online. 3-year starter, I think I saw it in your article as well. 3-year starter, next year senior Joe Greenless, and his father started a petition. Brenda, I looked yesterday afternoon, so almost 24 hours ago. There was 1,000 signatures on this petition, and I haven't checked today. I'm sure there's more. And at least how much?
1,195.
So almost 1,200 signatures, and there was at least 20 comments on this petition. Not one negative, which is incredible, especially with the keyboard warriors of the world. Not one negative, all in support of Charlie. I mean, all of his staff are Woonsocket High School grads. I mean, this is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen such a groundswell of support locally for anything so quickly.
I mean, we've seen a lot of coaches come and go in our lines of work, but I feel like someone like Charlie Debo, Woonsocket alum, he bled the road. He would have stayed there, so probably, time was up for him on this plan, to be honest with you, if I'm going to be blunt. He wasn't looking to go anywhere. It was like, this was like the perfect marriage between someone who cared deeply about the community and Woonsocket football and the kids that he's looking to mentor. Yes, is he a little eccentric sometimes with sideline? Oh, absolutely. But like you said, what football coach doesn't get animated looking for a call or anything like that? It's almost like par for the course in that line of work. But what you see him do outside of the football field, taking care of kids, talking to them, mentoring them, talking about what's going on at home and things like that. And probably, also, like I said, giving them a nice little spread there after the games at football. I mean, you guys have been to plenty of high school football games. I can't imagine that a lot of public schools are in that position where the Domino's pizzas come rolling in, like, the sodas, the juices, the things like that. Things like to give these kids a good deal at the game. All part of trying to build a program, build a culture that everybody's proud of. But there's some people who apparently don't see it that way, and the decision was made, and, and like we said right now, there's been a major uproar once the word got out that Charlie Debo is no longer coaching Woonsocket football. And
when you mention like the pizza and the drinks and things like that, I'm sure most people realize, your basketball team has 12 players on it. Your high school baseball team might have 15. Your hockey team, you're starting to get near, 20, 22. Your football roster, Brendan, can have anywhere from 35 to 90 on it. And I know his numbers are up and down, but let's just say he had 50 on his roster. That's a lot of pizzas. For a 50-man roster.
Between 40 and 50 kids, anyone who's been to that Barry Field little clubhouse that they go and change this to and everything. The downstairs, I've been down there, it's completely different from when he first took over. I mean, Cardinal Henderson, one of the great coaches in Woonsocket football history, he led the team to back-to-back Super Bowls, I think 2009, 2010, but he wasn't able to, make the inroads, I thought, with these kids that Charlie Debo was able to do, really able to relate to. And I think that's half the battle in coaching today, guys. You have to be able to relate to these kids because, it's not just about football. It's about looking good. I think Kevin, you and I did a game where all of a sudden they came out in a black uniform top. I forgot which game it was. But all of a sudden, I think Coach Debo said, we just ordered this week for these kids. the old look good, feel good, play good mentality, I guess. But
That's right. Yeah, the kids didn't even know until about a half an hour before game time that they were going to wear those uniforms. He surprised them with it.
Yeah, it's just those are the things that I think don't necessarily see the light of day. We see it as people who are around the program quite a bit, but it's just I don't know if the administration or the people that make the decisions, they see that as well. They hear some things and they decide to part company, and obviously right now there's a major backlash going on.
Yeah, and good, Pat. I'm sorry, you had a question.
Yeah. So Brendan, obviously, where do you see this going? You don't typically see administrations, turn back their decision once it's made, but given the backlash, do you see something happening where he would be brought back?
I mean, I think that they're going to try to fight it.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I mean, it's going to be it could be a case of he said she said kind of deal right now, or he said. It's just it could get more complicated and maybe even more messy before we have a resolution. But at the same time, if you're a coach right now and you hear this vacancy, what's going through your mind? You're like, do I really want to go into a situation like this where I might not have the full backing or support of the administration?
Well, and that's another piece of the puzzle there. I believe his whole staff, not only have they been with him for a few years, they're all Woonsocket High School graduates. Many of them played with Charlie, back when he was a player at Woonsocket High School. So not only are you losing him, I'm assuming you're losing his whole staff as well. Unless you've heard of a rumor of one of the other coaches stepping up, where are they even conducting the search? I mean, where any rumors on who might be taking over?
I think it's probably way too early in the process to even say. But just to give you a timeline, last spring, Tommy Brain, he was a popular Woonsocket High baseball coach.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that a long time ago.
Season.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Yeah, and they just filled that position, I believe, this past week for Woonsocket baseball. They finally named a new head coach. So you can't have that kind of gap, so to speak, between their coach resigned, which was last May, and naming a new coach this past week, which is February, with pitchers and catchers, for workout scheduled to report about a month from now. You can't have that kind of gap. So if you're Woonsocket, how much do you want to, drag this out, keep fighting, so to speak, but also too, you have to gear up and plan for the future, which is a new season, and also too, you're going to go be playing at a new facility.
That's right. Yeah, Barry Field's closing down, so you have a new facility, and just like some of the behind the scenes stuff that I know that football coaches do. All coaches do this, but with football, it's there is no AAU season for football.
Weight training.
Charlie Debo was always favored. They would win the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden on a Sunday they play the Thanksgiving game against Cumberland. They're in the weight room that following Monday,
right?
Getting ready for next season, because there's no such thing as a break, so to speak. Especially if you want to remain competitive.
In a lot of these football coaches too, they encourage their kids. The winter season's almost over, or will be over within a month. And then they start encouraging them to do not just the weight training, but join the lacrosse team, join the track team. And they kind of help those coaches recruit, because the football guys, they're self-serving. They want to make sure that their guys are staying in shape. Then you got your summer program. Then you got your 7-on-7s. That happen throughout the summer as you get ready for the high school football season, which starts, traditionally in and around Labor Day, or, just after as well. I mean, so this is the timing. You mentioned it, Brenda, at the outset. This is incredible that it feels like they've been sitting on this for, 2.5, 3 months now, and they just pulled the trigger this week.
Yeah, and actually the news came down the same day that LaSalle officially unveiled its new football coach.
Right.
Actually. Oh yeah. Well, that was
Barry in the lead, right?
Yeah. So it's Dan Copen over at LaSalle Pat and I were loosely floating the idea that Josh Lima, with no sources whatsoever, being interested as the LaSalle coach, as a former LaSalle player himself. Do you know how that process of Dan Copen getting named the LaSalle coach played out?
I think with Dan Copen, I think he has kids that attend LaSalle.
Yep.
And he's kind of been involved in the football program the last few years. And, we're talking about, a Super Bowl champion who played with who hiked the ball to both Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. That's a pretty big draw on carrot, so to speak,
yes,
if you're a LaSalle. So I think, that draw, at the end of the day kind of trumps everything else, no pun intended. I think that's probably the best way to explain it, that, you have kids who are in the school at LaSalle, and, you have that NFL pedigree, that background, you have that itch to coach, and why not if you're LaSalle?
Right, and you do wonder for Copen, is it a short-term gap for him while he was a kid?
He was at Hendricken for a short spout as an assistant a few years back too, before I think his kids started going to LaSalle. I think it's a good hire. Just because you play at the NFL level and you won Super Bowls doesn't necessarily translate over to being a coach. But I think he's at least.
If I could interrupt you 1 second, Jermaine Wiggins, I think he did the whole high school thing a couple years ago, and it didn't work out.
It did not. Up in Brockton.
Yeah. Wiggy struggled at Brockton. I think they gave him 1 year. And for what I understand, he was paid significantly
Handsomely.
for a high school coach.
Right.
And really set that program back a few years.
A lot of he said, she said on the Wiggins thing. Obviously good for recruiting at LaSalle to have Copen there. The high school ranks at LaSalle constantly competing with Hendricken. So this may help LaSalle grab a kid that may have otherwise thought of going to Hendricken, just having a name like Copen. What do you think?
Absolutely. Is it beyond Coach Copen? We can call him Coach Copen now. Calling up either Tom Brady and saying, hey, kids on the fence, maybe going to LaSalle or Hendricken. Hey, CB12, let's get on the line right now.
Can you imagine that, being an 8th grader getting a call from Tom Brady to go to LaSalle?
Maybe Roger Goodell can come in and rule. Like, obviously, I think it was Ben Mullen from the Globe last Roger Goodell this week about still Tom Brady being in the Fox booth and having a significant stake in the Raiders at this point, about the conflict of interest, so to speak. But no conflict of interest if a potential kid who is on the fence about going to LaSalle, say Rays, Henderson, wherever,
right?
Call from TB12.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure. That'd be pretty wild. So as you know, Brendan, a few minutes that we have left. Congrats to Evan Spencer. Something we thought during the football season going to URI. Just saw that Logan Jelinas from Burrillville just committed to UMass Dartmouth for football. As people know, we cover Cumberland, Woonsocket, Burrillville, Lincoln, North Smithfield as part of our high school coverage. Have you heard of anybody else recently committing to for football or other sports from the area?
Well, Andrew Nocera, who actually was a receiver on that Cumberland High football team with catching passes from Evan Spencer, he's committed to go play baseball at Central Connecticut.
Oh, nice, Division I
level. So
yeah.
So congratulations to him. I think there are a couple of this past November, a couple of Woonsocket High throwers, Isabella Piet and I believe who else? Karen just said they signed national letters of intent. Adelaide Karen, she national letter of intent to go to the University of Virginia. Congratulations to her.
Wow.
And Isabella Piet, she's going to go throw the Division I level at Belmont University.
Wow, yeah, no, I know. I keep reading about Woonsocket, and we sometimes touch on it, but they're incredible with some of their track and field events as well. And Brendan, before I let you go, though, Providence College, no Bryce Hopkins. Now Abdur Rahim is down. Is there any hope with 8 games left before the Big East tournament?
I think there's always. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. On the whole, but it's kind of like here it is, the second week of November, and you're asked to reinvent yourself once again. It's almost like instead of like, hey, this is who we are going forward, we're trying to walk in going into February and with an eye towards March. Once again, the Flyers, they have to, once again, reinvent themselves, pick things up on the fly without, a player in their team who had a great game last Saturday at Madison Square Garden, a game that, hopefully he can watch for the rest of his lifetime. I mean, it was Reggie Miller-esque. You just watched it on TV. It was, 3 after 3 was dropping, but then also you already tore meniscus. Tough break for him, done for the season. The Flyers, it's just the injury bug is, it continues to bite them hard. But one thing about them, they will continue to play hard. I mean, they hung tough. I saw for 35 minutes the other night against Creighton.
Yes.
We also have Kalkbrenner, such a great player, probably maybe one of the leading candidates for Big East Player of the Year. Could be a first-team All-American. And not many Big East teams are going to be sad to see him graduate, but they're going to play hard, the Flyers. But just at the end of the day, do they have enough bullets in the arsenal to get to that finish line? And big game for them out in Butler today, a team that's below them in the standings. So any hope the Flyers want to maybe get up to that 5 line in the Big East, which would mean that you have a first-round bye in the Big East tournament, you got to win games like today.
No, I absolutely. Yeah, with PC, I mean, the number of close losses, like games under 10 points, it's been incredible this year. So you're right. I mean, they're playing hard all these games, and even the Creighton game the other night. They lost by 11, but you were there. That was a close game. That's a 5-point game the whole way up until the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's, if things could go, I mean, obviously Creighton had the best 2 players on the floor.
Yeah.
But PC's heart and determination, it can carry a good portion of the day, but at some point you got to be able to make shots and get to those defensive stops. But if you have a roster that's losing players, valuable pieces, mind you, like offensive firepower, it gets the margin for error just shrinks so dramatically that it's kind of like when a team like Creighton gets on a roll like they did late in the game, you're not able to stop it.
And after the watch of that Creighton game, and granted it's a small sample for me. That guy Kalkbrenner, 7'1", he was unstoppable, and you got Ashworth, who we said looked like Marty McFly, shooting almost 98% from the free throw line all year. These guys are incredible. Again, small sample, but Creighton could do some serious damage in the Big East tournament.
Oh, absolutely they can. I mean, you look at what happened last night in the Big East with St. John's going on the road and winning in Campbell Pavilion against UConn. It's I think right now you have to say that the Big East runs through St. John's, maybe Creighton second.
Yeah.
Right now, and then you have Marquette and UConn. That's your top 4 right now, I think, in the Big East. But top 5 get a bye for the Big East tournament. You want to play that dreaded Wednesday night triple header. So the Flyers, if they want to maybe make some headway, get up there, they got to win games like today out in Butler, like we said.
Right. All right. So, Brendan, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you get any news on Woonsocket or Charlie or any rumors, let us know, and please feel free to come on again in the future.
Guys, I appreciate you having me on. Both of you stay well, and I guess have you guys made your Super Bowl picks yet?
Yeah, no, we haven't. We're just going to ask you who are you taking?
I'm going to go Fly Eagles Fly tomorrow. I think the Chiefs. They've lived on the close edge for a long time, and sooner or later, that edge goes against you a little bit. I think it happens tomorrow. I think the fact that it's a game indoors, the over-under, what I see, it's like 48 or something like that.
I think it's about 49.
49. I think it's pretty low for a game that, 2 teams that have very good defenses, but playing inside in a climate-controlled environment, I think that neutralizes it.
All right. So he's going.
We got Brendan in for Eagles.
Eagles for the. All right. So, all right. Duly noted, Brendan, and thank you so much for joining us. And go PC.
Guys, thank you so much. Stay well. Take care.
All right. Have a great one. Brendan McGeer from the Blackstone Valley Call-In Times, picking the Eagles and breaking the news that Charlie Bebo out at Woonsocket High. When we come back, the phone lines will be open 401-766-1240. 401-766-1240. Join us in the Chief Seats. What are your Super Bowl predictions? We're going to touch on some things with the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Super Bowl. Pat and I will make our picks. Who do you want in the Super Bowl? Or are you just rooting for the Squares? All right, give us a call, 401-766-1240 on WoonSoccerRadio.com. We'll be right back.
The best variety of music. OM 1240.
They can diagnose and repair just about anything at State Line Service. From tires and alignments and front-end work on all makes of cars and trucks up to 1 ton to smaller items like brakes, starters, struts, exhausts, radiators, timing belts, and high-speed balance. State Line Service is a third-generation family-owned business, up to date with the latest technology. They believe in clear, honest communication with their clients. No double talk, no pressure. State Line Service, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. State Line Service.
Woonsocket Door Sales carries an excellent variety of doors to complement your residence or business, including the LiftMaster security doors that provide you with extra protection against theft. These doors feature a special security ID code to further safeguard your home, business, or valuables in your garage. Remember, an attractive door complements the appearance of your home or business. Woonsocket Door Sales for installation, parts, and repairs. Woonsocket Door Sales, 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Call them 767-3448.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Service Master by Gilmore. From water and fire damage restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call Service Master by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web, www.servicemasterrestore.com. Restoration done right every time.
And welcome back to the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. I want to thank, again, Brendan McGeer. Pat, you posed an interesting question to me online before we get to our caller on Wednesday after the Bruins and Celtics had great, impressive wins over the Cavaliers and the Minnesota Wild. You said, what could Kevin possibly be mad at? Well, the Celtics returned home. The Bruins went on the road, and my anger returned. But before we get to all that, let's go to the phone lines. And I think we got a Moose on the line. Moose, are you there?
Yes, good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Super Bowl weekend.
Same to you, guys.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Doing great. How about yourself? Doing well?
Okay, very busy week in the land of sports, or the world of sports. Before we get to the Super Bowl, I'll save that for the end, and I'll try not to take too much of your time. You know, I wasn't paying much attention until maybe last week, and then I started really paying attention early this week with this Four Nations hockey tournament.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm saying to myself, okay, what is this all about? Now, first of all, this is an 8-day interlude. 8 days.
Yep.
Why are they doing this? It's like a second All-Star break. I mean, there's 4 countries involved,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Finland,
Canada. Yep.
Canada, U.S., and Sweden, is it?
Yes, Sweden.
I'm not sure. Sweden, right? This is going to be definitely for the marketing business side of it. I mean, why are they doing this? Players could get hurt that are signed for millions of dollars. You're talking about approaching the playoff time for all these teams. In my opinion, I just don't understand the sense of this. What are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts, one, I'm 100% for it, and I'll tell you why. At the end of every season, at the end of every NHL season, the International Ice Hockey Federation has a tournament every year. Not the junior tournament that Pat and I covered back in December, but another one that's usually overseas in Europe. As soon as a team is eliminated from the playoffs, we'll just use Zdeno Chara. Bruins were eliminated from the playoffs, say first round. He's on the flight the very next day, and he's out to Slovakia playing for Team Slovakia to extend his season in this tournament to keep going. The hockey players are just built differently than all the other sports. Baseball players are worried about injury. Basketball players want the time off. They don't play back-to-back. Football doesn't have a thing like this. The hockey players want this. They actually push. They do want it.
They voted for this.
This
is really out of the ordinary, to say the least.
Well, yeah, they haven't had anything like this. Oh boy, I remember them having like the World Cup of hockey. Brett Hull was on Team USA back in the '90s. Obviously, the players have been fighting to get back into the Olympics. It's the exact opposite of like the NBA, where the NBA wants their players in these types of tournaments, and it's the players that say no. The hockey players want into these tournaments, and the ownership says no. Am I right on that, Pat? Am I somewhat accurate?
I mean, for the most part.
What do you think, Pat, on this? What's your say on this?
I mean, I like it. I think it was something that they did back in the 70s and the 80s regularly, the World Cup or...
I mean, you know, the big famous Phil Esposito,
Yeah.
Team Canada playing Team Russia, the Canada Cup Series.
And a lot of these guys really want to represent their countries. They want to play...
Yeah, I understand that aspect of it. I just, in my opinion, just don't like the timing of it. It's right in the middle of the season. And it's at a point where, again, you're approaching the playoffs. And I don't know, it's so odd, guys. It's so odd to insert this. If it was 1 or 2 days, okay, they were off for 8 days.
Right.
But it coincides with the Olympic format. So, you know, every other year they're going to be doing the Olympics, and the NHL is going to shut down for 2 weeks. And there's going to be more players in the Olympics format because of all the other countries.
I don't agree with this. I understand the nature of it and the valor of it with all the countries involved in representing the countries. It's good as, but I just don't like the timing of it.
The other thing too, Moose, too. It's a short tournament. You know, let's just take USA for example. They're going to play Sweden. They're going to play Finland. They're going to play Canada. 3 games, and then it's the top 2 play for the championship. So at most you're playing 4 games. There's not even a consolation game, and it's really only 3 games spread out, like Pat said, 3 to 4 games over 8 or 9 days.
You know who's carrying this, guys? Is this on a?
I would imagine it's on.
I think it's on. I think it'll be on NHL Network. I'll double check that.
Probably streaming on that. Yeah.
It might be on the TNT or. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Back to the NHL for a second, and you were just talking to Pat that he was unhappy. He was, but he found with the Bruins lost, they went on the road, and the Celtics lose at home again, mysteriously. I wrote you an email about it.
Yep.
About the goalie situation. I don't get it. They shut out Minnesota. Swayman does 3-0.
Yep.
Shut him out. And he come back with Corpusalo. You got to keep the hot. And you're talking about establishing an identity.
Yes.
Right, Kevin?
Yeah.
You can't establish an identity if you keep bouncing around with your goalies.
Well,
you got to go with your number 1 man. So they don't start him. They start Corpusalo. They lose. Of course, it was a close game, but they lost. And for some reason, I don't like Corpusalo. There's always this old adage. You notice this with most of these goalies this year? For every team, they're always down. They're always down underneath. It's a law of gravity. You can move faster on your feet than you can on your knees. That's automatic.
Well,
and
on this,
Corpusalo played that 2-on-1 break very, very badly.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. No, it's I don't know if you can necessarily put the whole loss on him, but I actually agree with one point on you, Moose, because I took it a step further. Swayman throws a shutout. I know it's back-to-back nights, but the next night's Wednesday. I say ride the hot goaltender. Swayman wants to be the number 1 goalie. They paid him like the number 1 goalie. They're not playing again until today. So he would have had Thursday and Friday off anyway, and then he's the third goalie on Team USA anyway in the 4 Nations Cup tournament. So he's gonna break coming up anyway. So I'm actually in agreement with you. I think he should have played against the Rangers on the back-to-back nights.
Got to put him in the comfort zone, Kevin. You can't be bouncing around, and plus it hurts his confidence. How do you? He pitches a shutout. You know, I feel great, and now the team spirit is back, and you sit me down, Coach.
So,
I mean, that's got to break your spirit in a way, and to me, that doesn't add up as far as a coaching decision is concerned.
All right,
so that's my opinion.
Moose, before we let you go, who do you like in the Super Bowl?
Just going to tell you that. I'll say this. I don't like the Eagles, but I hate the Chiefs. Okay?
So you root for the
that's on
squares.
a personal level. As far as the game is concerned, I think everything revolves on Saquon Barkley. If he's a one-man army, this guy, he is certainly a force.
He is.
There's no doubt about it. If they stop him, and you know what? I think they will. I think they will.
So you going with the Chiefs?
I think the Chiefs will win in a close one, and Mahomes drives them down to the winning score, 26-24 Chiefs. The only reason why I picked 26 and 4 is because I've got those numbers in the pool.
I love it. All right, Moose, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and stay safe in the storm.
Thanks for your time, boys.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, when we come back, we'll have our final segment of the Chiefs Seats with Pat and Kevin. Pat and I will break down the Super Bowl a little bit. We'll make our picks, and I got an interesting take on the referees. Let's see what you think, and hopefully what you think. And if you have any thoughts on the Super Bowl, give us a call, or if you got Pat and I's number, shoot us a text. Who do you think's going to win? All right, here on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, OneSoccerRadio.com. We'll be back right after this.
ON Radio.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Invista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors, as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers. If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary, with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
And this week's special Michael's Meats, he's got a special fresh grade A party chicken wings for just $2.88 a pound. That's a Friday and Saturday special. So get out to Michael's Meats for the party wings. Rest of the week, he does have chicken thighs for $2.77 a pound, but you want to get those party chicken wings while you're out getting your milk, bread, eggs, all your French toast supplies for the
stick of butter.
For the big blizzard that's coming, 4 to 8 inches, I guess, is coming. So welcome back to the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. Pat, Super Bowl time. What are you thinking going in? Or do you want to hear my interesting theory?
Go ahead.
Oh, really? Oh, thanks. Yeah. All right. All the talk about the refs. All the talk about the refs favoring the Chiefs. They're asking the head of officiating. They're asking Roger Goodell. It's been all the talk for the last 2 weeks. They're sick of it. Good, they all got that exasperated look on their face. So much so that the refs subconsciously switch, and they start maybe giving the Eagles, like on those 4th and 1 calls, like favor the Eagles, because we can't favor the Chiefs again. Oh, this looks like it might favor the Chiefs. Anything subconsciously that could favor the Eagles with all this talk, or dumb theory.
Well, I'm not going to say dumb theory, but I don't know if they think too into it. I don't put a lot of stock in all that. I think for the most part, I think calls usually end up evening out. You'll see.
I mean, I don't think it's fixed. I mean, I don't think. I mean, there's a couple suspect calls.
There's a referee who played in the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Oh, I didn't know.
Who is officiating? Not the head referee, but one of the, line judge or one of those guys, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
to play and I'm sure it doesn't happen often.
It's probably the first one when you think about it, because it's when they retire, they just they lose about 50 pounds like Vince Wilfork did, and they usually just kind of get away from the sport. They go do the media rounds to get into officiating, and then climb the ranks where he's good enough to be in because. Yeah, they promote teams based on their abilities, right? I think it's a whole refereeing teams that they promote, or I'm not sure if they pull teams or if they pull individuals to make a team. I'm not sure, but still, they get promoted all the way up to the Super Bowl. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so let's not get into it. Your thoughts. We got about 5 minutes, and if you have a thought on the Super Bowl, we got plenty of time for you. It's 401-766-1240. Brendan McGeer picked the Eagles. Moose has picked the Chiefs, very specifically 26-24. Though he thinks he's more with the squares. He must have 6 and 4.
That's what he said.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Fat, going into the game?
Outside of all the, if nobody could win, it would be great. But obviously that can't happen.
It's really tough rooting for Philadelphia.
I just think Philadelphia has a little bit more juice on the offensive side. It's going to come down to, can Jalen Hurts make some plays with Kansas City's blitz packages, or is he just going to crumble? Because if he can make some plays, I think Philly has the weapons that can put them above and beyond Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City has, especially at the wide receiver position, I don't think they have the same type of weapons as Philly. But you can't go against Mahomes, right? He seems to always pull something out. They seem to always be in it. I would want it to be a one score game, and he has the ball with 3 minutes left.
I mean, this must be what people were saying during the Patriots run. If Brady's got the ball with less than 2 minutes to go in the game, Pats win. So what are you gonna do? So you kind of play both sides there. This is how the Eagles could do it. However, if Mahomes has the ball with less than 3 minutes, you like the Chiefs. It's no, I agree with you. I mean, Barkley's the guy.
He's the
X factor. Incredible, and nobody has shown an ability to stop him. And I know it's superficial, not getting into the left tackle talk and all that. So it's the stuff we see. It's a skill position, and he is that good.
Well, I do think that Philadelphia has probably the best offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah,
from both a blocking and protection standpoint. So can they keep Kansas City's rush defense at bay, or can Kansas City come up with some scheme, which they always seem to be able to in big games, to offset whatever that is?
Does A.J. Brown a factor then for Philadelphia? And will he? He complained earlier this year about lack of touches. And will they make a point to make sure he's involved? Is it going to be all Saquon? Are they going to mix and match? I mean,
I think it has to be a combination of everything. I think they need to use all their weapons, similar to the NFC Championship game where they, Saquon certainly got his and busted some long runs, but AJ was huge.
He was.
He had 9 or 10 receptions.
Since he complained, he's had a strong second half of the year, a good playoff run. You're right. Old friend, I think Joe Tooney is on the Philadelphia Eagles. You may recognize, speaking of left tackles, may recognize that name. Patriots could have used him.
Tooney's on Kansas City.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oops.
He's
the Patriots could have used him. So he's protecting Mahomes. Who's the left tackle in the? Oh, now I'm drawing a blank. I do this once a show. I draw a blank.
That's why I don't talk about offensive line, because it's just
get my offensive lineman mixed up. But that that happens. So all right. So you want to go?
Yeah. I'm going with Philly.
Philly.
I think it'll probably be. Let's see. I'm going to go 28-24 Philly.
28-24 Philly. I've been struggling with this for 2 weeks. One is the spread opened up at 1, and usually Vegas knows 1.5.
Kansas City's
a
favored by 1.5. Yeah.
It hasn't budged. Usually you see it move a point or two, and it hasn't budged in 2 weeks. So half the money is on Philly, half the money is on KC. KC has not been good against the spread this year. Part of me is like, okay, the luck has got to run out on Kansas City. I mean, how many games this year decided by either field goals made or field goals missed by the other team? Kansas City just seems to be on borrowed time, be it the fourth down, not a good spot against Buffalo. And Kansas City benefits from it. Of course, it's Kansas City then scored after that, and they win the game, 32-29.
And Buffalo had the ball
at
the end of the game. And
right, and didn't. Yeah,
didn't do anything.
It's like the Raiders still complaining about the tuck rule. It's like, well, you still could have stopped the Patriots at some point in the fourth quarter and in the overtime, and you didn't. Not that I want to get into the whole tuck rule thing again. A rule that went against the Patriots actually twice that year and the next year. Yep. It actually only benefited them once, but that's another argument for another day. I actually saw something recently on the tuck rule, a game. Larry Izzo, speaking of offensive linemen, had 2 fumble recoveries off of Troy Brown fumbles in the snowball game that kept the ball with the Patriots off of a catch by Troy and off a fumble recovery off a punt by Troy Brown. If Larry isn't Johnny on the spot making those fumble recoveries, again, it's those little things that could change the whole dynamic of a game. But anyway, back to the Super Bowl game. I think I want to say Philadelphia. I've been wanting to say Philadelphia early. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs. I don't want to. I think I'm rooting for the Squares as much as anybody. But just, I'll be devil's advocate here. I think if you would go on Chiefs, I think I could have been swayed into the Eagles. I think, all right, let's go cliche. Mahomes gets the ball with under 2 minutes and somehow finds Kelsey to make a big play, and then either he runs it in or he finds Kelsey again in the end zone. And they win, and the Swifties go home happy, and the Kelseys go home happy, and Mahomes gets 3 in a row, which I don't want to see. How do you feel about the Mahomes versus Brady? Is it too early for that conversation? I think it is, but
I think it's a little bit premature. But in a short period of time, he's obviously put up numbers and been in the big game.
He's 29. Brady played till he was 45. Yeah. And
he got better.
And Brady continued to get better. It's Brady did it with he had one continuous dynasty, and because you throw a couple Super Bowl losses in there, but when you take their wins, 2 separate types of teams, completely different because they were 10 years apart. So that's the thing. I don't want to take anything away from Mahomes, and I guess what you do with Mahomes is you compare Mahomes to Brady in the first part of his career. And then see where Mahomes is 6-7 years from now. Is he keeping the streak going? 3 in a row. Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that the Chiefs have a dynasty going right now, especially if they win 3 in a row. No team. I guess the Packers technically have won 3 in a row, but not 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Right.
They won Super Bowl 1 and 2 back in '67 and '68, but they also won the NFL championship in '66. Before the year before the Super Bowl started. So that they're the last team to win 3 in a row. I think the Lions did in the 40s as well, but a little bit before my time. So no team has ever won 3 Super Bowls. There'll be no denying it if the Chiefs do it. So
he's in the conversation,
right.
But I think he has to do it for a much longer period before I kind of give him the nod.
The nod, yeah. I agree. I don't think he's the GOAT yet, which I'm kind of tired of the word GOAT anyway. So let me go with a prediction here. You say Philly 28-24. Let's go with Chiefs 31 to 29. That way, there's no chance of overtime. Because then everybody will want new rules on the overtime. So, all right, well, there you have it. Pat predicted Philly 28-24. I reluctantly will take the Chiefs 31-29. Both Pat and I went 4-2 in our playoff picks. We forgot to do playoff picks the very first week of the playoffs. So we're both 4-2 going into the Super Bowl. So we hope you enjoy the game. Next week in studio, we will have Austin Rook, the play-by-play and son of legendary Rhode Island broadcaster, Hall of Famer John Rook, Providence Bruins play-by-play announcer Austin Rook, to come in here. He'll be talking Providence Bruins, Boston Bruins, Four Nations hockey, which at that point we can still sort of preview and speculate what's going to happen over the course of the next week of the tournament. So that about does it. Pat, any final words before we say our goodbyes?
No, Adam Vinatieri should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my gosh,
that's all I got.
He'll
be there, but he should have been in this year.
If you didn't, why didn't you vote for him this year? We don't vote for kickers right away. We don't vote for first-time specialty players right away. I still love that tackle on Herschel Walker.
Right,
he made that was incredible. So again, Austin Rook next week, Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. When you're done shoveling, head down to Meehan Auditorium, kill a couple hours, watch some college hockey. Game time 6:30 tomorrow night. And I am rooting for Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. Thank you so much for joining us in the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. We will see you back here next week on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and OneSoccerRadio.com. Have a great Super Bowl weekend, everyone.
Broadcasting live